Some flowers smell sweet. This one smells like death, and that is exactly why it works. The corpse flower is not trying to be pleasant. It is using one of the strangest tricks in the plant world to survive and reproduce. The opening should feel strange immediately, with beauty and discomfort arriving together. The plant behind the nickname is Amorphophallus titanum, also called the Titan Arum. It is famous because its bloom is enormous, rare, dramatic, and built around a smell that seems completely wrong for a flower. This distinction helps the audience understand that the structure is more complex than a normal blossom. What people call the flower is actually a giant inflorescence, a structure made of many tiny flowers arranged around a central spike. That spike is the spadix, and the great folded sheath around it is the spathe. That anatomy gives the plant its monumental shape and its theatrical visual power. The spathe opens like a huge dark cloak, green on the outside and deep red or purple inside. That color is part of the illusion, because the interior can resemble warm, exposed flesh to insects searching for decay. The surface looks almost sculpted, but every color supports the pollination trick. The central spadix can rise far above the surrounding spathe. In cultivation, Titan Arum blooms can reach several feet tall, and in ideal conditions, the plant can become a botanical giant that draws crowds just to witness it. Its height also gives the story a sense of scale that most flowers never create. The corpse flower is famous because blooming is an event, not a routine. A plant may spend years storing energy before it finally sends up the huge structure that will open for only a brief window. That rarity is why people follow bloom updates and gather when the plant finally opens. That waiting period is important. The plant grows from a massive underground corm, a storage organ that gathers energy during the leaf phase and then spends that stored power on the bloom. Without that underground reserve, the huge display could not happen at all. Producing a structure this large is expensive for a plant. It requires stored sugars, water, minerals, and time, so the corpse flower does not bloom casually. It saves energy, waits, and then risks everything on one dramatic display. The cost makes the bloom feel like a single expensive gamble rather than a routine event. When the bloom begins to open, the atmosphere changes. The spathe loosens, the deep red interior appears, and the plant enters a short stage when smell, heat, color, and timing all work together. A slow reveal works well here, as if the plant is preparing a stage. The infamous odor is often compared to rotting flesh. That smell is not a mistake or a sign of sickness, it is the strategy. The plant is advertising to insects that normally search for decaying material. The odor becomes the central twist of the whole story, turning repulsion into usefulness. Flies and carrion beetles are among the insects drawn toward that odor. To them, the scent can suggest a place where food or breeding opportunities might exist, so they approach the bloom and move around its hidden flowers. These insects are not villains. They are exactly the audience the plant is designed to reach. The plant also produces heat, a process called thermogenesis. Warming the spadix can help spread the scent farther through the air, turning the bloom into a kind of temporary signal tower on the rainforest floor. The warmth gives the scent lift, helping it move through still humid air. This heat-like effect makes the corpse flower feel even stranger. It is not only shaped like an alien object and colored like a warning sign, it can behave almost like a living furnace during peak bloom. This gives the plant an almost animal-like presence during its short peak. At the base of the spadix are the true flowers. Female flowers become receptive first, and male flowers release pollen later, a timing pattern that helps reduce self-pollination and encourages pollen transfer between different plants. The timing is subtle, but it matters for successful reproduction between separate plants. The insects are not visiting because the corpse flower is beautiful to them. They are following scent cues. As they crawl through the structure, they can carry pollen from one bloom to another if timing and chance line up. The insects may be fooled, but the plant's strategy is highly refined. This is why the smell matters so much. A sweet scent would attract the wrong audience. The corpse flower needs insects that respond to decay, so it speaks in the chemical language those insects already understand. The corpse flower is not communicating with humans, it is communicating with insects. From a human point of view, the strategy feels grotesque. From the plant's point of view, it is elegant. It uses odor, heat, color, and architecture to solve the problem of pollination. This is survival through deception, but the deception is botanical, not malicious. The bloom does not last long. The strongest smell often happens near peak opening, and the entire display may collapse or fade within a few days. That short lifespan makes every bloom feel urgent. The short duration makes every hour of the bloom feel important. Botanical gardens often treat a corpse flower bloom like a public event because visitors may have only one chance to see it. A plant can take years to prepare, then its dramatic moment passes quickly. That public excitement mirrors the biological urgency of the plant's own reproductive window. After flowering, the plant returns to a quieter cycle. It may produce a single giant leaf that looks almost like a small tree, gathering sunlight and rebuilding the energy stored underground. The leaf stage is quiet, but it is the reason the next bloom becomes possible. That leaf stage can be surprising because it looks nothing like the bloom. The corpse flower alternates between a leafy energy-building form and a rare reproductive form, each serving a different purpose. This alternating life cycle makes the plant stranger than a single dramatic event. In the wild, this plant belongs to the rainforests of Sumatra. Its story is not just a greenhouse spectacle. It comes from humid tropical habitat where forest structure, insects, and climate all shape its life. Keeping Sumatra in the story prevents the plant from becoming only a greenhouse attraction. The rainforest floor is dim, crowded, and competitive. Plants must find ways to attract pollinators, store energy, and reproduce despite limited light and intense pressure from other organisms. The forest setting explains why extreme strategies can be useful instead of merely bizarre. The corpse flower answers that challenge with scale and deception. Instead of offering sweet perfume, it creates a temporary illusion of decay, drawing insects from the shadowed forest into its reproductive chamber. The plant solves that problem by becoming impossible for the right insects to ignore. The plant size is part of the drama. A large bloom can be visible, warm, and chemically powerful enough to stand out in a complex rainforest environment filled with competing smells and signals. The bloom is a beacon in a world where scent can matter as much as color. Its color also supports the trick. The deep red interior is not random beauty. It helps reinforce the carrion illusion for insects that are already following the scent. Together, smell and color create a convincing signal for carrion-seeking insects. That is why the corpse flower feels like a perfect example of strange plant survival. It shows that plants are not passive decorations. They can manipulate animal behavior with chemistry, timing, shape, and heat. This is the key idea. Plants can influence animal behavior without moving. Even the short bloom makes sense. The plant does not need to remain open for weeks if the goal is a brief, intense burst of attraction. It concentrates energy into a powerful window. The brief bloom concentrates the plant's resources into a powerful biological announcement. The rarity of blooming also protects the plant's energy budget. If a bloom fails, the cost is enormous, but waiting allows the corm to rebuild strength and try again in a later cycle. Energy storage, patience, and timing all become part of the survival plan. For humans, the corpse flower is a spectacle. For insects, it is a signal. For the plant, it is a calculated gamble made after years of quiet preparation underground. The gamble can only work because the plant has prepared for years. Its story is dramatic without needing horror. The smell of death becomes a tool for life, and the giant bloom becomes a reminder that survival strategies can be stranger than imagination. The tone should stay dramatic but botanical, strange but not horror. The corpse flower also shows how beauty can be uncomfortable. Its shape is magnificent, its colors are rich, and yet its scent challenges the usual idea that flowers should be sweet and delicate. That discomfort is what makes the species so memorable for visitors. That contradiction is what makes it unforgettable. It is huge and brief, beautiful and unpleasant, rare and famous, rooted in rainforest ecology, yet celebrated in botanical gardens around the world. Few plants challenge human expectations about flowers this directly. When the bloom collapses, the show ends, but the plant is not finished. Underground, the corm can begin storing energy again, preparing for another cycle that may take years to repeat. Even after collapse, the story continues below ground in the living corm. So the corpse flower is more than a giant plant with a bad smell. It is a living strategy, using decay-like signals to create new life in the shadows of the rainforest. The ending should feel like the plant has turned death-like signals into renewal. In the end, the corpse flower proves that plants can be as theatrical as animals. Its brief bloom is a botanical performance built from stored energy, chemical deception, heat, color, and perfect timing. Its rare performance proves that plant survival can be dramatic, intelligent, and deeply strange.